Here's a good question for you. Have you ever wanted to buy a Russian watch, but you just never knew where to get one? This episode is for you. Welcome back to the Humble Horologist. My name is Anthony, and thank you for joining in. Hey, I have had a few Russian watches in my lifetime, and I'm wearing one right now. It is a Vostok Kommandersky automatic, and I'll tell you where I got it here in just a second. I'm also privileged to have this one, which is one that I purchased somewhere far, far away in a place called Hungary. Budapest, Hungary, to be exact, back in 1991. This was my first Russian watch. This is the last one that I purchased, and I've had several in between. Why would somebody own one is a good question. Well, the answer is because Russian watches are like Russian tanks. They're tough. They are dependable, they're rugged, they're like a lot of things that come out of Russia. But I know that talking about Russian things might not be the most appealing of topics because of things going on in our world today. However, life goes on, and some people would still like to have a Russian watch. If that's you, I'm here to help because I want to give you a few examples of places you can go to find the Russian watch that you would like. The first suggestion or two may or may not be obvious. One would be go to Russia. But that's probably not the most practical thing to do for most people, and it might not be the most advisable. The next thing you could do is find somebody in another country, not Russia, but somewhere else where you can purchase a Russian watch, like I did back in 1991 when I went to Romania. I had a stopover in Hungary for a few days, and I actually went across the bridge that connects the two different sides of Budapest, Hungary, and on that bridge, I met a guy. It went something like this. Do you want a watch? I've got a watch for you. Come here, I'll show it to you. Come here. You got $20? I'll give it to you for 20 American. That's not exactly how it went, but I like to think that it went that way. Actually, there's a guy just selling some stuff on the bridge, including watches, and he had some pretty cool Russian watches there, military watches, some Vostoks, and I was looking at him, and he sold me one. It might have been $25, and I've had it ever since because it was the real deal. But getting into more practical ways, there are Facebook groups, and if you know anybody on Facebook, if you are in any watch Facebook groups, or Facebook watch groups, I might say, you can find plenty of people who collect Vostoks and Stramanskys and probably a boatload of other Russian watch brands, and you can find somebody that you can purchase one from. In my case, I got this one from a Facebook friend in a watch group that I'm a member of, and we made a trade. I sent him a watch, and he sent me this one, and it's a beautiful watch, and he was not in America, but was actually in New Zealand. Funny thing is that he sent me this watch and the bezel separately because he didn't have the yellow bezel that I wanted. He ordered it from Russia. That came to me, and the watch came to me separately. What do you think about that? That was a cool deal. Now, of course, there are some places where you can buy watches in-house, in a store somewhere. Some watch brands may actually have a boutique in some of the major cities. But for the most part, the next step is to go online. That's where most of us buy our watches anyway, is from the internet. So let me show you some examples that I have found, and I'm going to show you on my computer in an old-fashioned, non-high technologically way. Just for reference sake, let's go ahead and take a quick look at the two watches that I do have. Be sad if I talked about all these and never showed you something up close. Huh? Wouldn't that be sad? Well, here on the left is the one that I've gotten lately, and it varies somewhat from the one on the right, which is the original vintage Vostok Komandersky that I have, which is only hand wound. But both of them are from Vostok. And now this one is a stainless steel case. This one is probably brass with chrome plating. But both of them are tough watches. Now, there are some unique things about these watches that we can look at in a different video. But if you know anything about Vostoks, they have some quirks about them. And those quirks actually are some strengths, like loose crown stems. And as you can see on the right, there's a crack in the crystal because both have acrylic crystals. They're not sapphire, and they're not anything harder than acrylic because there is a purpose in that, and that has to do with the water resistance. But there you go. There's my two Vostoks that I have currently. I thought it would be fun to actually show you the bridge where I purchased my Vostok Komandersky. It's actually this bridge right here over the Danube River in Budapest, Hungary. And I bought it right here on this side of the bridge in 1991. Here we go. This looks up towards the hill. Right in this area right here is where I actually purchased my Vostok in Budapest, Hungary. Now you know that's the provenance behind it. If you want to be safe and you want to buy a Vostok, a Russian watch, let's put it that way. I keep saying Vostok, but if you want to buy a Russian watch, it's probably going to be a Vostok, most likely. If you want to go someplace safe that you know you can at least deal with somebody that you've dealt with before, then you can always go to Amazon. And Amazon has got some decent options on there, and they've got some good prices for, the most part. There's some on here that are a little more pricey, I think, than you can get them from other dealers. But on the other hand, they're not much more. And, you have the ability to be able to return them or to complain or do whatever you want to do if it doesn't turn out exactly the way you expected. So there's that. You have a little bit more, you can get a little bit more comfort in knowing when you buy from Amazon that you can get what you've ordered and get it pretty quickly too. Another place you can go is Marinom. Now Marinom is actually buying it from the company that makes Vostok. If you want to buy a Russian watch and you want to buy a Vostok, Marinom is the official store, I believe, where Vostoks come from. And here you can have a host of options. Personally, I would like to have one of these right here. But anyway, there's every kind of option when it comes to the Vostok watches you can imagine when you go to Marinom. But you're going to be dealing with buying from Russia, and so the time that it gets here, things like that, can really be up in the air due to conflict, obviously. Now, when it comes to Russian, of course, Vostok is not your only option. You can also go to Sturmansky because they are the ones that claim to have the very first watch ever in space. And so if you want a real piece of history that is looked over a lot, you can get Sturmansky. Now, here's their website, Sturmansky.com, and they offer a lot of watches. As you can see, they have a lot of different kinds of styles and everything. You can look at, here there's the Gagarin And here's the heritage of that watch it talks about. But there's different styles, and they're all, I think, really nice watches. We don't see reviews of these, that is for sure. Because for one thing, I guess, they're not cheap. I mean, 590 euros for that one right here in the middle, and I know that's got to be 600 plus American dollars. And they're, you get them from Russia, and that's probably not going to be on everybody's radar. But these are really, from what I heard, good watches. Now, going on to something else, back to Vostok, I found this website here that I've not heard anybody mention, and it's called buyvostok.com. And here you can get Vostok watches from the United States. As you can see down here on the left, it ships free from Florida. So this is a store that is supposed to be, related to the stores in Russia, the company. And so this is where you can get them here. Now, I've looked at the collection, not the entire collection, but there are many, as you can see here, like this watch right here, where my cursor is sold out, this Vostok Amphibian Classic. Now, a lot of the watches on here are probably sold out, but you can get them from the store in Russia, I would venture to guess. So they're going to be limited as the kind you can get from the American store compared to the Russian store, but you could get them a lot quicker, and shipping is free if you get them from this one. Now, another one that I found that was interesting, another website for Russian watches, is one that I've never heard anybody mention before, and I only found this because it popped up as an ad on Facebook, and it's Sputnik 1957. Here, they actually take vintage Russian watches of all different brands and restore them with watchmakers and then sell them as, nice vintage watches, but with a 1-year guarantee on the movement. And so this particular one right here, for instance, is $158. And I love this watch. I mean, this is a really, really cool watch, because if you look at the dial, you got the gold in the middle, and I would love to pull this up if it would, but it just doesn't want to pull up. Let's see what I can do here. No, just giving me grief. Let me zoom in. There we go. You can see here the second hand actually rotates, and this is the Sputnik satellite. That was the first satellite launched, which is where this website gets its name. And this is the second hand, essentially, that turns as the Sputnik rotates or goes or orbits around the Earth, so to speak. Isn't that just cool? I would like to have this watch. Honestly, I really would. Ooh, somebody just purchased one. Well, I do hope that you found this video helpful in some way, and let me know what you thought about it. Let me know if you have any other suggestions of watch brands from Russia and how to get them. But if this was beneficial, I hope that you'll let me know about that too. Thank you for watching. Thank you for liking this video if you found it useful. And if you would, please remember, if you haven't subscribed yet, please do that, because we're getting so close to 1,000. And life just can't go on as normal if I don't reach that 1,000 mark sometime soon. But thank you so much for watching, all of you. You are very appreciated. And remember, watches, no matter where you get them from, they're replaceable. But time is not. Have a great one.